Here comes MJF. So here's the segment that used to be the must-watch segment of the episode, usually. Nowadays, I don't know if MJF is as hot as he was. So MJF is out. You remember any of this promo, Vlad? He basically put Samoa Joe over for his TNA work, called him like a true wrestling badass, and I think this is the end. We'll just hear some of what he had to say at the very tail end of it.
So I am going to show the world in the Nassau Coliseum, it is not about the size of the dog in the fight. It is about the size of the fight in the dog. And if you want to take what's mine, at World's End, you're gonna have to put me down.
All right. Well, that was good. You see that part? That was a little bit of the old MJF fire from when he was a bad guy. And as a babyface fire-up, I think that was pretty good. But something happens here, if I'm not mistaken.
Samoa Joe, without a doubt, at World's End.
All right. So the devil character that we've been waiting to see who the heck it could be. They've been teasing it for many weeks at this point. Last week it was a video. This week they're actually going to attack him. Some people. 4 guys. 4 guys have Max. And then here's Samoa Joe's music hit. And then he just comes out of nowhere. I was like, what the fuck was that? Where the hell was he? And they really need to hit his music for that, but okay. And Joe comes in and clears the ring. The commentators later try to say that whoever this is has some kind of control over the production truck or something like that, right? Okay, here's a message. In the shadows, our games begin next week. MJF and Samoa Joe, will you face the unknown in a tag match? Are you a hero, Max? This writing is what comes on the screen. And Max is going to respond to that by accepting the match because Joe, I think, doesn't really want to do it. For some reason, Joe has given himself the task of protecting Max.
I'm so sick of your Scooby-Doo bullshit! Let me explain something to you! I am not dealing with your crap when I got that guy breathing down my neck at World's End. No. I am going to take out all of your men one by one. I am going to unmask you, you coward. And next week, you want a tag match? You're on.
Relax, Max. Relax. You're making a bad, irrational decision here. So this is bad for Joe because Joe doesn't want to be involved in that. But yet, for some reason, he said, I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to make sure you show up to our pay-per-view match healthy, which is kind of stupid in my opinion. He should just forget that. Any comments here from you guys? We'll start with Robert.
All right, so let me rewind back first to MJF's promo. One thing I do want to point out is he mentioned as he was putting Samoa Joe over, he did mention that Samoa Joe never got a title shot at WWE, and he specifically said WWE. When he said that, in my head I was thinking, because I don't know if there's been any official reports as to whether he's actually resigned to AEW or not, but the fact that he took a dig at WWE there leads me to believe that he has resigned. It just hasn't been announced. That's just my thinking. I could be wrong, but I think he's not going to be signed by WWE.
I agree with you.
Because otherwise he wouldn't have taken a dig at WWE like that. That's just my opinion. I don't know who the people behind the masks are, but one thing that I thought was kind of dumb, you didn't play it in the recording, but I think if I remember correctly, at some point the commentators were saying that Tony Khan authorized this match between Samoa Joe and the Unknown. Well, then, if that's true, wouldn't that mean that Tony Khan knows who the Unknown are? Because it would have to be like people that are under his employment, right? Like for him to authorize that match. It doesn't make sense, but I thought it was
that's interesting point, Vlad. That's an interesting point.
But am I tripping? Didn't the commentators at some point right after that mention that Tony Khan agreed to that match happening?
Well, that's not the first time that unknown people in a mask have been booked for a match.
Okay.
There have been times where we don't know who it is, but they're still out there. The Aces and Eights did it, right, Vlad? I think in TNA they did that. Let's go to Vlad. What do you think of this whole thing?
Back to what you said, as far as the fact that they're saying that somehow this group has control of the lights.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're trying to finally point that out.
I think that's been a criticism of all the stuff when the lights go out for a while. So the fact that they said this group has... But why would this specific group have control of the lights unless they're saying that Tony Khan is the leader. Tony Khan is the leader of this group. It doesn't make any sense.
They're finally trying to fill in that plot hole that we've been complaining about for many, many years. Whoever has been messing with the lights.
Unless this is one of those things where they go full crazy and Tony Khan is the devil. That doesn't make sense. I guess this was the best part of the show because the rest of the show is, like you said, just these matches that weren't really interesting, or I don't care about this tournament whatsoever. So I would say this was the best part of the show because we don't really know what's going on with this group, who they are. I mean, we have some theories. It's to be decided, I guess. And MJF did cut a pretty good promo. And I mean, I know what you're saying, that it's like dumb. Why is Joe even protecting him? But I think the point for Joe is he just wants him to make it to the show as the champion so he could fight him and beat him. Not to the fact that he wants so much at his best, but just the fact that he's there. So I mean, I'm okay with that part of it. I mean, I know you said that it's kind of dumb. And of course. It's not the worst thing they've ever done. I mean, MJF cut a good promo. Not only did he mention WWE, though, he mentioned like all the main stars, right? I think he mentioned CM Punk in the promo. He used his name as well. He used everybody's name.
He said he beat Punk, he beat Cody, and which he did. It's true. That's true.
He did. As far as Robert's point to the fact that this is probably a sign that he's staying in AEW, I guess I would say he is most likely as well, but I just think if he's smart, he wouldn't. I don't really see anything happening here that's going to get better. I think they had an opportunity to be good. I think that opportunity has passed. He stays, it's up to him. It's his career, it's his decision. But he's been lately involved in some of the worst booking of his career and some of the worst angles of his AEW career, I should say. I don't know about his stuff before, like in MLW or wherever he was prior to AEW. This is the worst run he's had. And the funny thing is, it's the worst run he's had as the world champion. But
well, he had a pretty bad run against Jericho, and then he lost to Wardlow. He jobbed out to Wardlow one time. So, you know, even as a bad guy, it wasn't completely smooth sailing. It was better. We always look forward to his segments as a heel. Right now, it doesn't really seem that way. I think we do look forward to his segments now, though, just because of this Devil storyline, whether you like it or not. It is a mystery. There will be a reveal, and it'll be interesting, whoever the reveal is. Jack Perry, Adam Cole, MJF himself, Tony Khan, Britt Baker.
Tony Khan would be just a totally crazy thing to do with that, Tony Khan.
Don't forget my original prediction, Adam Copeland.
Yeah, that is your original prediction. I think at World's End would be the time to reveal it. I think the next pay-per-view, it has to be revealed then. I think they can't drag it out any further than that. It has to be revealed at the next pay-per-view.
Well,
I guess.
Speaking of who could be behind the mask itself, or behind one of these costumes, or whatever you call it, they're just jumpsuits with black masks. So let me show you what happened right after this segment. The very next segment, they go to the commentators table. So they kill some time here.
These masked assailants, but
And these guys talk for like a minute. And the next guy's music who hits is Wardlow's music. And look at Wardlow. Look closely. Look at his hair. It's a little screwed up, you know, like if he just changed out of a jumpsuit and took off like a mask kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Wait. Maybe they did that intentionally.
Detective Pikachu.
Yeah, right.
So he has so he has a match with AR Fox. Okay, I'm gonna skip the match. It's a few minutes long, but he wins it with the power bomb in the end. Like such a devastating power bomb that the referee just stops the match. Like this guy's dead. This guy's dead.
Oh God! Yeah, my goodness. Okay.
At least give it a couple more seconds. Like shake it, slap his face a little bit. He's like, no, this guy's gone. This guy's gone for sure.
Never gonna be the same again.
So there's my theory. I do think Wardlow is one of the guys. I don't think he's the main guy, but I think he's got to be one of the guys. He's got to be one of the masked assailants, as they call them.
Do you think he fits the build of any of those four that we saw?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Oh.
See a big guy like that. I would have.
I think it would have been noticeable if one of them was that big.
You guys want to? You want to go back and look at it? Let me see.
Sure.
This guy.
Does that look like Wardlow's?
The guy on the left is pretty buff. I don't know if he's this guy over here.
Okay, I don't know. I'm not seeing Wardlow in any of them personally.
You're not wrong. You definitely could be right. You could be onto something with the hair thing. That was a good catch. So maybe, but I still like the idea of it being Adam Cole.
Yeah,
Adam Cole and
it probably will be Adam Cole still. That's my main guess. That's my guess. All right, moving on. All right, well, look, this was the first AEW show post WWE stealing Punk away. AEW Dynamite first full show. Do you guys have any idea of a grade you might give this show? Since you guys both saw the show, Vlad, can you give it a grade?
This was pretty bad. I know.
Are you in the D range?
Mostly matches that nobody cared about. I'm gonna go quick. I'll say it was it was probably a D. It was a D.
D.
It was not a good show. Not a good show at all.
Man, I think I'm with you. I'm gonna say D also. Robert, you're on the spot.
Pretty much the same. Overall, I didn't enjoy this episode, so I'll say D also.
Man, if AEW don't turn MJF back to heel soon, I think they're in trouble, man. I think that's what should be the conclusion of the Devil storyline. I think it should be MJF himself.
That MJF should be the Devil?
Yeah, I think it should be like Vince McMahon, like the obvious thing, but everybody should have known all along. But
it's me, Austin.
Yeah, I think I think that's what would be best for business, dude. Like, they need MJF as a heel. I think that's the biggest problem with the show. I think they could still compete with WWE if they just give the show to MJF as a heel. They got to do it. They got to pull the trigger. He's got to be the devil. If he's not the devil, then they're fucked. If he's not the devil, this show is going down the tubes. That's my conclusion. All right, then. Thank you guys for joining us for wrestling. It's wrestling talk from the past week. Thank you for listening. Whoever listened, subscribe if you want to be notified about more clips that we put out. But I want to thank Robert so much for coming on, man. I know you've been going through some shit, but good thing that you're okay.
Thanks.
I second that.
Vlad, the wrestling expert, thank you also. I'm glad that you're okay also. And that'll be it for this week. We'll see you guys next week.